Hi, I'm Jeremiah Proffitt, and welcome to another episode of Proffitt's Resurrection Land Cruisers TV. In this episode, we are going to feature this sweet 10-inch stretched FJ40 Cummins R2.8 5-speed build that we just finished. It's got a lot of sweet details, and I'm really excited to show you them. We're also going to go out into the shop and talk to all the guys, see how much trouble we can get in. So let's do it. When you're building a vehicle like this, there are so many little things that you have to do to make them just nice, right? That not doing those things would be a shortcut, and that's why you see me talking about shortcuts all the time. This is something I noticed the other day. I didn't even know that they did. But Alex, when he built this intake, so he coped this intake tube out right there. That's a TIG welded aluminum, and he welded in a concave piece of another piece of tubing here just to clear the transmission cooler 90, right? So that those two weren't really close to rubbing. And those little details, those are like my favorite things about building Land Cruisers, is when the guys, they see something needs to be done, they do it in the coolest way possible. Yes, it adds some time, but that's, you know, our stuff is about no shortcuts, right? So that's the no shortcut way to do that, and it turned out really cool. This whole rig's turning out really cool. Why do we always paint the hood last? Look at it. Why do we always paint the hood last? Because it's the last thing to put on, and it just sits around and gets scratched up if we don't wait till the very end. So I like to see the hoods painted because that means the rig's almost done. You got a diaper on it.
Got a diaper on there.
All for?
We're painting the front frame section black. This isn't a full restoration, so we're not taking the body off the frame. So we're just doing the front section and getting it cleaned up and blacked out so the engine can go back in.
Because we are painting the engine compartment. It's a brand new engine, so everything has to look nice.
Everything has to look nice. Everything we touch has to look nice. So no
spray paint.
No spray
either.
Paint.
So how come? Yeah. So we're painting this with real automotive paint. What's the difference for the onlookers? I mean, because most people would just rattle can this.
Rattle can is not as durable. It doesn't have a hardener. It can wipe off with degreaser even sometimes. So we use the actual catalyzed paint so it hardens and stays nice for a long time.
And I'm excited to see this one too. We have till Christmas to get this one done so that we have a red one and a green one.
Oh yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, no, they'll both be gone long before Christmas.
We might need Santa and some of his helpers to do that, but
yeah, no, these are going to be gone way before Christmas. Hopefully, we're working on a completely different green one and a completely different red one by Christmas.
Let's hope so.
Well, we'll come back and visit this one after we get some shiny red paint on it and a new engine in there, and it'll look good.
That'll look real good.
Thanks, Casey. Connor's been working diligently on this R2.8 5-speed swap in this BJ73.
Yes.
Left-hand drive, super cool truck. This guy's daily driver. He's been walking or taking Ubers or bicycling or something for about a month now while we get this done. So, and he's excited to come get it on the 12th. So that gives us about a week to finish it up, test drive it.
Buttoned up and ready to go.
Yeah. And this is your first Cummins swap with us, but it's super clean. You did a good job. What was the biggest challenge of doing this?
Just getting direction on everything and kind of learning, starting from scratch on full custom install.
Yeah, there's a whole separate skill set, isn't there, with just kind of inventing everything as you go along. Yeah. And this isn't even one that we do all the time. This is our second Cummins in a 70 series. So, you know, we don't have, well, this wire goes here, this is the bracket for that. I mean, we kind of had to reinvent the wheel on it.
Yeah, usually it's just remove and replace, and this time it's reinventing everything and figuring it out, so that was a lot of fun.
And now you're going to be an expert at it.
Yeah.
But I think you did a fantastic job. I mean, it's very clean.
Fairly smoothly.
Yep, absolutely. I see something that I don't like, but there's nothing we can do about it. See this computer mount? This is the kind of stuff I see. I'm sick. Jordy's looking over because he wants to know. 8mm bolt, 6mm bolt.
Yep.
But that's
Same with
because.
that.
Oh, it's symmetrical here. Oh, 8 is, oh, well, it's okay then. As long as you do it twice, the asymmetry turns into symmetry.
That's it.
Yeah.
It's symmetrical and it's factory bolts, baby. Factory bolts.
Yeah,
holes,
I mean, that's why it's done, but
factory
see what I mean? That's an 8mm threaded hole, and that's a 6mm thread hole. And this is a custom computer mount. But like, I'm totally fine with it because right here, we've got an 8mm factory threaded hole and a 6. So
We did that up there.
yeah, the world's in balance.
Yeah.
Sweet. You know, we love these cars. In fact, we love all vehicles. And so every once in a while we see something that just shouldn't have been done. And that's why we like to say, stop it! You know, Janny, the banana has been on the website for a long time. It's just not selling. I mean, I don't know what we did wrong on our online store, but do you mind looking at Bring a Trailer and just seeing if those guys are doing, anybody's doing anything that's different than us?
Sure. The only thing I can tell is that a lot of these people seem to be taking pictures of their keys.
That's it! Now I just need to position them just perfectly. This is really important. This is super important. I might have discovered the key to selling a car. Wait just a second. This is stupid. Why am I taking pictures of keys? As a matter of fact, why is anybody taking pictures of keys? If you're selling your car and bring a trailer, we're gonna assume it comes with keys, right? Stop taking a picture of your keys artistically placed on the seat as if to say, hey look, my car comes with keys. All cars come with keys, especially if you're trying to get $10, $20, $30, $40, $100,000. And while you're at it, stop taking pictures that are too close up. I see pictures of things like this all the time, and if you're not trying to show a flaw in the car, like what is that? What does that picture do? That picture doesn't do anything. When you take a picture, get back a little bit. If you're trying to show a flaw, go ahead and get in there, but close-ups, especially close-ups of keys, let's just stop it. We built this FJ40 for a client from the Florida Keys. He had a little bit unique set of specifications that we needed to adhere to, so we decided to go ahead and use a 10-inch stretched Aqualu tub. We stretched the original FJ40 frame to match the tub, and to get the wheelbase exactly right, we decided to 4-link the rear suspension. I don't want to miss any of the details about this FJ40, so to organize my thoughts, I think we're just going to start right at the front of the vehicle and move to the back. So right out front, we've got our in-house built PRLC off-road winch bar, we call this, and it's got 2 rigid 6-inch light bars built into it, and of course, the iconic worn 8274 winch. So for this vehicle, we chose Saginaw power steering. That's for a couple of reasons. Number one, it's the best power steering to use in conjunction with the engine conversion that we did, because this engine requires a great big radiator, and an FJ60 steering box would be in the way of the radiator. The Saginaw power steering and 8274 combo is necessary because a different winch, like a VR or some sort of a bridged winch, wouldn't fit in between the frame rails and it would be up too high. So this bumper steering combo, pretty standard here. Just a little bit behind the winch, there's the iconic white 79 and later Land Cruiser bezel and a pair of rigid truck lights. Now these headlights are in just about all of our restorations because when it comes to LED headlights, they just can't be beat. So under the hood, the Cummins R2.8, of course, with a really sweet kind of custom matched body color radiator cover. We put these on here because, I mean, it's very striking when you open the hood, but also there's a big air sandwich right here. AC condenser, big intercooler, huge radiator, and then a fan shroud, and this kind of integrates and covers that up nicely, although the fabrication there is beautiful. Thanks, Alex. Behind that, Cummins R2.8 with an H55F Toyota 5-speed transmission. This engine compartment is full, as you can tell. We have a twin ARB compressor because this vehicle has ARB differential locks front and rear. Move the battery back and up, so we have room for all the little accessories that get fill up the engine compartment on these Cummins swaps. We've done so many of these Cummins R2.8 engine conversions, we've got where to put everything down to a science. So here's something I want to point out. All of our restorations have this. You'll notice that the brake fluid in the reservoirs is kind of a really pretty purple or a blue color. That's because it's .5 brake fluid. We use .5 brake fluid in all of our rigs that get a whole new brake system. Number one, because it is paint safe. We've had situations where you get a drip of brake fluid on paint, pretty soon you're stripping the whole engine compartment to repaint the whole thing. This stuff won't hurt paint, it's silicone based, but what is important is that you don't mix it with .3, and we actually just had that happen. A shop in Florida, even though we have these stickers, topped off a reservoir with .3 brake fluid, and what that does is it kind of ruins the whole system. You end up having to suck all of that out, and it's about $100 worth of fluid to flush it all out. So anyway, if you're ever working on one of our restorations and you see these stickers, .5 only please, because that's what that means right there, .5 only. That's why we made the sticker. Before we get too far back on the vehicle, I want to talk about the front suspension. You guys have seen this on our episodes a lot, but we did our PRLC shackle reversal in a 2.5-inch Old Man Emu lift. The shackle reversal, I can't say it enough, is crucial to the drivability of these Land Cruisers, and it's the biggest bang for the buck suspension-wise that you can possibly have. The rear suspension in this case is a custom 4-link. We could have done leaf springs in the back, but all that work to move the spring hangers, since we stretched the frame, might as well link the suspension while you're at it. It allows them to ride a lot better, and it also allows for tuning the suspension to be a little easier. A pair of 10-inch travel Bilstein 2.5-inch coilovers does the work of holding this Land Cruiser up off the ground. This being one of our body-off restorations, of course everything underneath this car is just as pretty as what is up on top. Some of the things I'm most proud of on vehicles like this at the shop is the quality of the fabrication that we do on these chassis. Most people don't ever even get down on the ground to notice, but every weld, every bend, every custom piece of anything really just integrates well, and it makes for one really, really nice product. So Bob won't allow us to, for a very good reason, step on running boards or rock sliders on anything we build. We have a saying, we call it, let the customer provide their own patina, which is good. So to get in, it's a good thing we have the PRLC roll cage. And of course I took my shoes off so I can jump over the running board and get inside to talk about this FJ40. So if you've looked at our builds for a while, you've noticed that we have kind of our style about how we go about the inside of these things, especially the dash. I really like the looks of the dash the way Toyota did it, so we're not going to do anything in here typically that compromise that. Although we've changed pretty much where everything is and everything's been modernized, it still looks pretty Toyota. Of course, on the left we've got a set of Dakota Digital gauges, and I like the HDX version the best, of course, for those. Murphy gauge for the Cummins, and then we've moved the AC controls, HVAC controls to right there. Retro stereo in the middle, and of course our ashtray switch panel with switches for the dome light, which is in the roll cage, I'll show you in a second, the air compressor, and the front and rear diff locks. Dome lights in these, my favorite thing to do is when we do our PRLC roll cage, we add rigid A-series lights to it, and so this makes it really nice at night. You can see everything very, very well on the interior. Of course, we use the factory steering column and OEM steering wheel restored. Really completes the inside nicely. Then of course, our PRLC Tuffy box. This is just a Tuffy box, to be clear, from Tuffy Security Products, but we've changed it a little bit to modernize it. We add a 3D printed cell phone or device tray with a wireless charging port built in, and then we make this little escutcheon so we can just kind of a more modern look but still access the inside. Also on the front of this, we've got a switch panel, in this case with the forward-facing lights in the bumper, the camp light on the rear bumper, which we'll get to in a minute, and then just a dual USB charging port. For the seats, we used a set of OEM 1979 and newer FJ40 seats, but they are covered in a really nice camel-colored leather, as are the rear seats and the door panels. From the rear of this cruiser, you can see how we took advantage of some of that extra 10 inches of space. First of all, the 10 inches provided us with a really nice space for a set of custom speaker boxes. We've got some 6x9 focal speakers in them, and also an 8-inch woofer on the driver's side speaker box. It's nice to have space for speakers in FJ40s because it's super tough to have room for them otherwise. In addition to the speakers, we also had room for something that the customer specified, which is a gun safe. On the rear of this Land Cruiser, to match our off-road front bumper, we've added our dual swing-out rear FJ40 bumper. This is generation 4, I think, of our bumper, and I'm pretty sure we're almost done making improvements to this because it is pretty sweet. So one other thing that I want to point out about this, just because it seemed like a really good idea at the time and it came out great, but no one's going to notice. So Aqualu tubs like this, one of the things that I don't love about them is that it's a dead giveaway. It's an Aqualu when you look inside and you have a perfectly flat floor, flat wheel well tops, flat fender sides. So what we did on this is we cut out aluminum tongue depressor shaped 1/8 inch thick aluminum strips and welded them to the floor to simulate the interior FJ40 ridges that were there in the steel. And so the back of this from the outside looks like a steel tub. Not from the underside because they're not there. Kind of a little cheat. Definitely more time involved in the project, but I think definitely worth it because it gives it a much more OEM look. Two last accessories worth mentioning on this vehicle, and one of them is actually very special, are the Nomad wheels. So Nomad has just started to make wheels that are the proper fit for FJ40s and FJ60s. A lot of wheel companies have been neglecting us for a long time in terms of classic four-wheel drives. And so these are a 15 by 7 inch wheel, perfect for a 33-1050 like this, with a 3 3/4 back spacing, perfect for FJ40 and FJ60 axles. And so thanks to the guys at Nomad for making these. These happen to be their convoy wheel, and the color is salt. Before I forget, we've capped this rig off with an Easy-On K9 roof rack, which is really our go-to roof rack for FJ40s and FJ60s. Thanks for watching this episode of Proffitt's Resurrection Land Cruisers TV. We think we have some of the best Land Cruiser content on the internet, so please share that with others so that they can enjoy it too. You can also check out our Instagram. We are Pro Cruiser there. ResurrectionLandCruisers.com is the website. And at the bottom of most pages, you can sign up for our newsletter. Right there is maybe once a month. We don't blow you up, but once a month we release something that's thoughtful and interesting about the industry or about Toyota Land Cruisers, and it's fun to have the comments that you can make there on the newsletter, so check that out. And as always, thanks for watching.
People are taking pictures of their keys.
That's it!
All right.
Just get it.
Ready to get what you want me to do? Get up and go out?
You can't sit down in the shop.
Get out of the shop.
I want a fuel tank from your house.
I keep track of stoppets in my phone. Because I have real. Roy, do you have any stoppets?
I don't have a good one right now.
Stop not having stoppets. Stop stopping my stoppets. We need to stop it, and I write them down sometimes in my notes.